Okay, this one's a very quick review of distributive property. Okay, and so let me do this. Okay, remember distributive property just means you're multiplying the number outside the parentheses. Okay, it also could be out here. That would still mean to distribute. You with me? Okay. Also, if there is a negative sign in front of it, you're multiplying by the entire term, the negative, the sign included. Okay, it is not that way in this particular one, but I just wanted to be sure that you remembered that. All right, so 4 times 5s, 4 times positive 9t, and 4 times negative 6. Okay, 4 times 5s is 20s. 4 times 9, 30 plus 36t. And then 4 times 6 is negative minus 24. All right, and these are not like terms, so literally that is your answer. Okay, remember distributive property on this? Okay, we did the opposite of this yesterday, right? We pulled out, we looked at 20s, 30, 6t, and negative 24 and saw, oh, hey, 4 is a factor of all of these things. Yes? I'm not going to spend too much time if we don't need to on these. All right, so this is a combination. It's 2 distributive property problems all in one. So we have to do our distributive property and then combine like term to write this in simplest form. If you have like terms and you do not combine them, it is not simplest form, okay, or simplest terms. All right, same thing with fraction, right? If you have 100 50ths and you write it as 50 25ths, you've simplified it, but it's not in simplest form, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Yes, kind of. Okay. This one, pay attention to the signs. Okay. The signs get distributed. Okay. -5 times 6m and -5 times 3. Okay. You follow? Okay. -5 times 6, we've got negative 30m. And then -5 times 3 is negative 15. Okay, then we have -7 times -7m. That is positive 49m. And -7m times positive 7 is going to be negative 49. You good? Are we done? No, we are not. Okay, we have like terms. Look, negative 30m and positive 49m. That combines to be a positive 19m. Do you know why? Yes, negative 30 plus 49. Okay, opposite signs. So we subtract them when we keep the sign of the larger absolute value. In this case, positive. Okay. All right. Negative 15, negative 49. They're both negative. So we can add them. Okay. We're going to get 64. 49 plus 10 is 59. Plus 5 is 64. So I get, sorry, not positive. We get negative 64. Okay. We keep the signs. Okay. All right. This should be your answer. Okay, because there's nothing else that we can simplify. 19m and negative 64 are not like terms, so we are in simplest terms. Make sense? Let's see here. Just so you know I'm not crazy, I'll go ahead and type this in and have it check it. How's that? Because sometimes I am crazy and I make a mistake. Okay. All right, but not this time. All right, delete all of these. All right, any questions on that one? All right, the next one just has some decimals. All right, so don't freak out. All right, same thing. You've got your calculator. Don't freak out. If you're scared to multiply and divide decimals, use a calculator. It changes nothing about your problem. It changes nothing. Okay, you with me? All right, still do distributive property. Am I going too fast? No, okay. All right. Okay, so we have 8 times D and 8 times 10F. Okay, and then this one we don't have to do anything with, so that's going to stay the same, but we have this -2. And again, remembering the sign goes with it. Okay, the whole thing gets distributed. Okay, so we're going to do both of those at the same time. 8 times D is 8D. 8 times 10F is 80F. Again, the negative 0.0 F stays the same. And then -2 times -8 is positive 16F. And then -2 times positive 4D is negative 8D. Okay, this one's kind of fun. Ready? Now we just combine our like terms. Look, I've got 8D and I've got negative 8D. When we combine those, what happens? 8D minus 8D. Gone. 0. Gone. Poof, gone. Okay? Yes? Poof, gone. Comprehend? Sure? Honey, question? No? Good? Okay. Then we've got positive 80F, negative 0.6 and then positive 16F. All right. So if this is me, I'm going to wait and do my -0.6 at the end. Okay. I'm going to do 80 plus 16 first. Okay. Does anybody want to explain to me why I can do that? Why can I do that? Emma, go for it.
You said the 80 and the 16, right?
Yeah.
Because they have the same variable.
True. But why can I kind of ignore this middle term and not do 80 minus the 0.6 first?
Because it's a decimal.
That's why I want to, but why am I allowed to mathematically? Anybody? Remember when you have subtraction, it's the same thing as 80F plus negative 0.6F, right? Plus 16F. And when we add, we can reorder our numbers, right? Order does not matter for addition, right? Order matters for subtraction though, right? But if we change our subtraction sign to adding the opposite and put this in our parentheses, then you can reorder this and I can do 80F plus 16F plus negative 0.6F. Okay? But again, you have to keep the negative with the term it goes with. You with me? Does that make sense? Okay, you have to move that whole term. And if that term is negative, you better keep that negative sign with it. Because if you leave the negative sign, then you got a problem, right? Because we don't want 80F minus 16F, right? We want 80F plus 16F, in which case we get 96F minus this is 0.6F. All right. And if I do 96 minus 0.6, I get 95.4F. Other of these are a little more complicated than that particular one as far as your decimals are concerned. Okay. Does that make sense though? Kind of why you can make that work for you. Just keep the signs with where they go. I think maybe let's do one more decimal problem. Yeah, see how this one's got more decimals? Okay. This one's not an overly complicated problem, but it does still have multiple decimals in there. So we'll go ahead and do this, okay? Don't let the decimals freak you out, all right? Just use your calculator, all right? 0.6 times x and 0.6 times 8. All right, so we don't do anything with this first, so we're just going to leave our 0 or our 5/10 x. All right, negative times a negative is a positive. 0.6 times x is 0.6x. And then a negative times a positive is a negative. And then 6/10 of 8, hold on. So 4 is negative 4.8, or 4 8/10. Okay, you guys with me here? Okay, all right. Then from here we have negative half x plus 6x, which is going to give me positive 0.1x, 0.5, negative 0.5 plus 0.6 gives me positive 0.1, because again, opposite signs, so we subtract them and we keep the sign of the larger absolute value. And then there's no like terms to our 4.8, so it just stays negative 4.8. All right. Again, just use your calculator, guys. Okay, not a big deal. All right. So same thing here. You do it exact same way. It's distributed. The negative 5v stays the same, negative 5v, and then 1/2 times 3/2v. Okay, 1 ABC2 times 3 ABC2. You multiply your coefficients and you get positive, because a positive times a positive, 3/4 v. And then 1/2 times negative 3 is negative 3/2. It's 1.5, and I turned it into a, right, half of 3 is 1.5. Now we're combining our like terms, negative 5v and plus 3/4 v. All right, that is going to give us negative 4 1/4 v. Did I do it right? Negative 5 plus 3ABC4. Yeah, I did it. Good job, Miss Stewart. So proud of you. Yes, thank you.